Nadia, and this is Under Construction. And today we have
Ndimphiwe.
my husband. Uh, he is part of my support structure, and I thought that
Ostensibly.
at this time we could talk about support and the people that support us from their perspective, and that's why I have brought his raggedy ass here.
It is pretty raggedy. Yes, it is.
Okay, so let's see. How long have you and I been together?
We've been together closing in on 5 years.
Closing on 5 years.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And how long?
One of the very few Tinder happy endings, I guess.
One of the very few Tinder happy endings. We met on Tinder and now we're married.
Stop being mushy for the people.
Okay. All right.
You can't be serious around me, can you?
No, I can't. Okay. Not even a little bit. Okay. So, as someone who supports me, who's part of my support structure, how do you feel about it personally? How does it take a toll on you, or anything to that effect?
That's a tricky question to answer, or at least to give.
That's hot.
Just like you. That's a tricky question to answer. I think, how do I feel about it on the whole? I guess my experience might be obviously colored by my own upbringing and background with other people and being part of other support systems. But call it crazy, but it's kind of natural to me. So the natural toll it would take on most people not accustomed to being part of an extensive support system might find it a lot more draining. So on the whole, I don't have an overall negative feeling about it. I don't necessarily think I have an overall positive feeling of being a support structure. How do I put that? Because being a support structure usually entails being a pillar to lean on, right? So I think for me, that's just a part of who I am. I don't necessarily view it as a negative thing or a positive thing. It's just part of who I am. So how do I feel about being a support structure? I guess that extends to how I feel about being your partner, and I feel very good about being your partner, and therefore there's the inherent attachment to me being your support structure that I'm like, yeah, it's an overall positive thing. Has its drawbacks as anything in life, but yeah, for the most part I feel pretty positive about it, but obviously it's colored by a lot of my upbringing to some degree. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
I'm sure to someone it makes sense. Okay.
For those of y'all wondering, I ramble a lot. And I go down these
rabbit holes.
I go down these rabbit holes of
I think it was the worst person
things.
I could bring in for a short conversation.
Okay. Too long, didn't listen. Overall, I feel positive about being a support structure because as your partner, I like being able to provide in certain ways for you, whether it's being there for you emotionally, through the highs and the lows, and I guess the roller coaster that is a relationship. So yes, it's a positive experience.
Okay.
On the whole.
All right.
Yes. Is that a better answer?
That's a better answer. Okay. As my support structure as the
Mm-hmm.
part of my support structure that's closest to me, right?
Yes.
What do you, what does that entail? What do you have to do slash, yeah, on a regular basis?
Ooh, on a regular basis. Um,
Or irregular, just, on a basis.
I don't think I can answer that directly in the sense that there are specific things I'm doing on a day-to-day basis or even on an irregular basis. I think I think maybe what I should be hmm. I guess I can give a general answer. So I think the biggest thing for me um, on a day-to-day basis is that I'm everything I do surrounding you comes from a place of always comes from an empathetic place. So I'm hyper aware of your emotional state and your mental state, uh, which which naturally considering the specific uh, considering the specific mental illnesses that you deal with, which have varying highs and lows depending on what experience you're having that specific day. So I'm very hypersensitive about your mental state, which can be a positive in the sense that I know when to be there, and how I'm there is usually providing comfort, providing affirmations, just making sure you know that it's okay to be experiencing whatever you're experiencing. Uh, the I guess the potential negative of that is I don't think there's an off switch for that. I think I've probably lost the off switch for that. So sometimes I can be a little overbearing in like making sure you're okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get annoyed every now and
Yeah, it's
sometimes.
constant. Are you all right? Is this okay? Are you all right? How are you feeling? No, it's fine. It's not terrible to be sad. It's okay. Are you all
Look, it's
right?
not that crazy.
Are you
Look, it's not
fine?
that crazy. So anyway, yeah. So one of the things is I've developed a bit of
I
a
woke
hyper.
up late, so coffee.
I've developed. I'm a developer, so coffee. So I've developed a certain hypersensitivity, which helps me in one reacting to your state, but two also preempting when I can see where your state is going. Um, yeah, and sometimes it can be sometimes it's conversations I can have with you. Um, Sometimes it's not even conversations. Sometimes it's just listening to you. Sometimes it's providing simple comforts, your own of simple comforts, right? Whether it be, I mean, they're not healthy comforts, but whether it be providing chocolates on terrible days, or providing yeah, mainly chocolates actually,
And 10 jellos.
and tengellos, yes. Whether it's provide, because yeah, I think I'm very aware of how good of an effect they have. It's almost like don't slap me. It's almost like
Depends.
it's almost like some kids have blankies.
Yes.
There's varying levels of things that are like blankies that I provide for you.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the things I do on a regular to irregular uh, base. But basically, the point is every day. Uh, the main thing that drives how we interact is my awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm, when I'm in certain sort of highs and lows, for example, if I'm in like a super low, uh, how do you handle it, and how does it affect you?
How does it affect me?
Yes.
You're trying to figure out how. Are you trying to figure out how this stuff affects me emotionally?
For the people.
All right, fair enough. Um, when you're experiencing a low, it's always gonna depend on like what, because you have different lows. Um, there are lows where you almost shut down. There are lows where you may and when I say shut down, I mean interactivity is almost kind of uh, not a thing you can engage in. So that's a different experience. And then there's I guess the peak of a low would be a breakdown, whether it's crying over your current experience. So just those two extreme examples. When when there's a lack of interaction, I think for me the biggest thing I can normally do is give you your space, because I think in those cases, usually, as you call it, hermiting, um, that's that's a thing that provides some sort of comfort, and I can check in every now and then just to make sure.
Mhm. Hermiting. When one stays in one room constantly under the blankets and refuses to leave. The more you know. Just saying hermiting like
It's
it's a normal thing people say.
I'm
This
sure
is the
they
thing we say to each
I'm
other.
I'm sure they'll understand my context. I'm sure they'll get it. I'm
The
sure
more
they'll get
you
it.
know.
The more you know. We're not editing this, by the way. So
Not
so
even a little
there's
bit.
no graphic that's gonna show up there. Okay, so there's that, right? And then in some cases where your low is a case of you don't really want to interact or do anything, I can I can provide space but presence. Because to some degree my presence provides comfort. At least I'd like to think. Um,
Like currently, like where I'm at right now,
yes.
right? I'm hermiting, but then you're able to come in and like just cuddle for a bit,
Mm-hmm.
right? Sort of comfort me.
Yeah.
And then you can go like a little, like room service, but for
Yeah.
cuddles.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah.
But the other extreme would be just a straight up breakdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that state, um, I think in that state, usually what causes that is your mind focusing on a lot of things at once. And usually, what I normally try to do in those situations is bring you back to the moment. Whether it be saying some silly stuff that might make you laugh. Should I even admit this? Yeah, I sometimes sing.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's neither here nor there.
There's a song that he sings.
Yes. But what I normally try to do in those situations is just try to bring you back to the present moment. Um, because naturally our brains can fixate on things that are currently beyond the moment, and and create a spiral.
Mm.
Usually, when you're in a breakdown, that's usually what's happening, right? Whether it be worrying about visa statuses and things like that, um, where where at the moment there is no human intervention that can come in from us,
Mm.
but the mind will keep
Yeah.
swirling on that. So what I normally try to do is bring you back to right now, right here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, through silly means, I guess.
Yeah, like
um,
stupid jokes.
Stupid jokes, a hug,
Mm.
uh,
Cuddle.
or what I normally do is more of a bear hug, not really
Yeah.
a hug. Um, yeah, and in I guess moderate states, I take it by ear. Um, I can usually tell if you want to talk. I can usually tell if you want to talk, but you don't want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by she wants to talk, there's stuff that she's holding back. She's concerned she might be a burden if she talks about it, so she holds it in. She wants to talk, but she doesn't want to talk. In those cases, it can be maybe a little bit of prodding, which can be hit or miss. And none of this will ever be perfect in any coupling.
Mm-hmm.
Where one partner is the pseudo core support structure, whatever the case is. None of this is ever going to be perfect, but hit or miss. I think for the most part I have it right. Um, and how much I might prod you or give you space or just listen to you without necessarily wanting to give advice. Uh, Full disclosure, I like fixing things.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the one of the things I've had to learn,
It's the urge not to
yeah,
fix
the
it.
urge not to fix. Look, I'm a developer. I'm a developer. I was almost an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
There's my brain is built to find solutions. So one of the things I have to tone back anytime I'm supporting
It's the urge
is
to fix it.
is the urge to fix and um gauging whether you want this fixed
Mm-hmm.
or you just want someone to hear about your problem and listen to you and just be support, right? um yeah, that's a big one. I think that one's a big one. I think you asked me how I feel and how it affects me
Yeah.
emotionally in those cases. um Off tops, like I said, I think my upbringing has built me up to have a bit of a natural skill at navigating that, which isn't to say there isn't a negative impact. So I think the biggest struggle for me is through empathy.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel what you feel, maybe to a lesser extent than you do, but I do feel it, right? Um, and while providing support, I have to navigate not getting sucked into the full experience of what you're feeling,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's a bit of a delicate balance because when I'm supporting you, empathy does help me, right? It makes me understand what you're feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and it allows me to it allows me a better perspective on what support I'm giving you, but also it runs the risk of dragging me into what you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And what's that old adage? Misery loves company.
Mm-hmm.
I have to fight a little bit against that within myself. Um, and I guess to some degree it's going to color how we are as a couple in various ways, right? Uh, so whether it be the love languages we're speaking and how your how your values affect you and your desire to interact or be present,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the negative effect for me would be uh, I thrive on interacting with my partner. whether it's touch, um, whether it's touch, simple conversations, and just being present around each other, spending time with each other. I have to sort of mute, well, not mute. I have to navigate with understanding and empathy that that my expectation cannot be that you are always ready
Mm-hmm.
to interact or to spend time or any of the things that will come within a normal relationship,
Mm-hmm.
right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, pretty sure it does.
I'm pretty sure I rambled right there.
Yep. Yes, you did. So
but yeah,
stupid.
that's I guess how my emotions are affected, and just yeah, and it's a cycle. The hypersensitivity, the empathy, makes me great at being a support structure, but I can also it runs the risk of bringing me into the negative cloud, so to speak, when it is there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think there's also the balance of potentially, because at the end of the day, I'm with you for I'm with you to be your partner primarily, right? So the thing that might even that'll probably affect me the most is balancing that I am a partner first and a caregiver second.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually the tricky thing.
Yeah. My notes are behind me.
I'm in the video, so I'm
Yeah.
just gonna be I'm just gonna take over
Okay.
and be the producer now.
Okay. Well, that's all the questions answered.
Is it all the questions
Yeah,
answered?
it's all the questions answered.
Let's
It's all
see.
the questions I could think of.
That's all the questions you can think of.
Yeah.
So actually, let me ask a question to you.
Mm-hmm.
With your experience having me around, like what are the things that stand out in like the are there things that like you notice that I'm doing or not doing when trying to be a support structure?
Obviously I noticed like changes in you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Especially when I'm hermiting, right? Like recently I've been
Mm-hmm.
struggling with a depressive state recently, which is why this video took a whole while,
Mm-hmm.
like more than a week to record. Um, so when I'm hermiting, like you are able to, do your thing and then come and like check in on me,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then go back. And I feel like it doesn't like disrupt your regular scheduled programming.
Okay.
Because like you do your thing and then you're able to come and like snuggle with me
Mm-hmm.
and try to like make me feel better and hold me, right? And then you're able to go back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is cool. uh and also you're able to not take instruction. Take requests. Like when I ask you, when I'm in an extremely depressive mode and I ask you to take the sharps away from me,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you do it like overboard, like you take everything that is sharp,
Mm-hmm.
and you still have a lot of them
Yeah.
that I need, like nail clippers,
Mm-hmm.
right? I need nail clippers. But yeah, and uh I think without you, like just being there,
Mm-hmm.
forcing me to eat when I'm really down, and the last thing I want to look at is food. But you make me eat, you
Mm.
know. You snuggle with me, make me come out of the room, etc. I think that's the biggest part
Mm-hmm.
of having you as my support system, right? Because I also have mom, but mom is far away,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yeah. What was the question?
Things you noticed
Mm.
in
And also, you're a bit stressed all the time. Like I'm
I was
very.
actually about I was about to ask you if you are aware, like as a follow up, but I was about to ask you if you in the process of me changing hat from just partner
Yeah,
to
you're
support guy, or
stressed
I was about to ask you
as support guy.
if you notice emotional cues from me.
Yeah, as regular support guy, not IT support, but regular support guy. Like you're stressed, and it's one of the reasons why I like wait until it's like really bad to tell you that shit's gone sideways.
And then I give you shit for it.
Yeah, every single time.
Because I'm gonna be stressed. I'm gonna be stressed. And look, there's going to be some level. That's so what I normally tell her is there's always gonna be some level as as the partner who is not the one going through a variety of mental illnesses. There's no getting around it. You're gonna be the one who is going to have a hypersensitivity towards your partner's mental state.
Mm.
Is it great? No, it's not. But like there's no getting around it,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's no getting around it. So what I normally tell her is there's always going to be a baseline level of stress with me. It is what it is. There's always going to be a baseline level of stress. The thing that should be happening on the on the support partner or the core support partner is that they should find ways to manage their stress, right? So I don't. I've never, while being with you, I haven't really lost the things that make me happy or the things that relieve stress. I still play video games. I still make music, kind of, sort of. I still read. I still watch the shows I want to watch. I still watch the movies I want to watch.
You're able to de-stress
Yes,
to some
I'm
extent.
able to have outlets to, who knows, some of them you could argue aren't healthy in certain doses, but I have outlets, and it's good for it's good for you to for either of us to remember that while we are a unit, we should have outlets even beyond the two of us that allow us to de-stress, that allow us to have fun, allow us, whether it's momentary joy or whatever the case is, uh, and that helps diffuse certain emotions,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, am I constantly stressed?
Yes.
Probably, but I think it's a baseline where I guess high functioning, so to speak. Um, I mean, you also have to account for the fact that I have a somewhat stressful job. So
Somewhat.
right, so there's always going to be a baseline level of stress, but what we normally try to do is, or at least what I try to nudge you to do is not to worry about the stress I have. Now, granted, on the flip side, the shoe drops on my end as well, in the sense that because I'm the partner who considers myself the one with the more don't want to say stable,
Stable.
with the more stable disposition. when I'm feeling depressed, or when I'm having a negative downturn, and this is why communication is key. I've had to now learn not to not to hold that off as the partner who can handle it. Um, as the partner who can handle it, I've had to learn not to think of it that way, but just be open and honest when I'm feeling depressed or when I'm going through negative emotions. Um, because to some degree, actually, I found that I found that when you are the support structure for me,
Mm-hmm.
it slightly takes you out of your own experience a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, that's an interesting thing. Yeah.
All right. What was the question? Okay.
you I was the follow up question to how it affects me,
Mhm.
and then I asked you if you noticed things about how I
Okay, it was
and
a
you
joke.
yeah, I know I
Stupid.
know I like killing your jokes because your
Why?
jokes are bad.
My jokes are funny.
Okay, carry on.
My jokes are funny.
Carry on. Mhm.
How much does a polar bear weigh?
You want me
Enough,
to indulge you?
enough to break the ice. What's up?
Okay.
That's
Okay.
a funny one. It's funny.
Okay. Carry on.
I think we're good from
hmm
there. We've gotten a lot of information
Yeah.
about life from your perspective with someone like me
Mm.
who has mental illness, who is in and out of hospital,
Yeah.
you know. And yeah, like when I'm in hospital, what's
Uh-huh.
it like for you?
Slightly terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, when you're in hospital, um, it's slightly terrifying because I think so. And I'll explain why it's terrifying. So it's slightly terrifying because when I see some of the extreme states at at home,
Mm-hmm.
and we manage them, um, they still take a lot out of us, right? So when you get to the point where you have to go to hospital, the it's terrifying because no matter what positive outlook I might have, there's always the question in the back of my mind of whether there'll be some level of normal's not the word, but some level of like a consistent non roller coaster like experience.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very unlike 2 visits ago.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's when you go there, um, and just to demystify going to the hospital, when you get admitted, it can be hit or miss whether
Mm-hmm.
whether you come out better
Better.
or worse,
Yeah.
right? So that's I think the thing that sits in the back of my mind. When you leave there, are you going to be in a better state
Or no.
or in a worse state? Because it
Yeah.
can happen, right?
Yeah.
Because you
And it
because
has happened
it has
before
happened before because
where I came
you're also surrounded by
other people who have,
yeah. It's
you
not
know,
like you're
were,
surrounded by like a variety of counterbalances to who you are.
yeah,
You're surrounded by other people going through
the same
similar
thing.
similar extreme experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes they can feed off of each other, which has happened before.
Mm-hmm.
uh so I think the hospital experience is a scary one.
Yeah.
It's a
Especially
scary one.
last time because of COVID, there were no visitors allowed.
Yes.
So you did not see me for 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was getting ECT.
Yes, you are getting ECT. So yeah, it's tricky. It's
Mm.
tricky. Um, yeah, I think that's a scary thing. But I think as an overall takeaway, the things I've learned or or I've become aware in my experience
Mm-hmm.
um, is that as the support structure, um, you're gonna need to remember just a few key things. You're not Superman or Superwoman or Wonder Woman
Mm-hmm.
as the support structure. Um, some cases, yeah, you might fulfill a little bit of that, but on the whole, you're not that, right? And then on the other side, your partner who's going through whether who has to go through the experience of dealing with bipolar disorder, borderline personality, chronic depression. That partner, while going through all of this and having all these high peaks and valleys, they're still not a baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to manage. You need to find a way to manage you being a caretaker slash supporter, so that you do not get caretaker fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you need to remember that you yourself are not a superhero,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're a partner. Yes, yes, there's going to be a bulk. The bulk of the support balance will likely come from you, but you also need support, and your partner is also a source of support
Mm-hmm.
in your situations. Yeah, empathy, communication. Those will be the driving things that make it easier. Not easy, easier.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's my takeaway as a support slash caretaker slash partner. Yeah,
Slash husband.
slash
Slash.
husband. Slash all the things. Clark Kent and Superman. Yes.
Am I married to Clark Kent or Superman?
I was in my brain. I actually think about this a lot. Um, I I want you to be married to Clark Kent.
Mm-hmm. I want to be married to Clark Kent.
Yes, Clark Kent is the guy you married,
Mm.
and Superman is the guy who comes when there's trouble.
Uh-huh.
Yes, but the guy, because Superman is what I do, Clark is who I am. If that makes sense. Well, I'm such an idiot. Good
You're
grief.
such nerd.
Yes, I'm a nerd.
You're a dork.
Yes, I am.
My dork.
Yes, I'm your dork.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it for today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think we got it.
I think we got it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got it.
Yeah.
Even though I talk around circles,
Yeah.
you'll bear with it.
If you have any questions, still, uh, comment section. Uh, yeah, that's it for today and under construction with my husband, D. Uh, I don't think we actually told him your name.
I did.
Uh,
I did.
Anyway.
Ndimphiwe.
Yeah.
My head looks raggedy, but
Yeah. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Love, peace, and chicken grease.